Okay, so in this video, right, I'll be showing you how to set up these markers here with all the triangles. So this is a good way for most match moving artists, right, to check and inspect and make sure that the tracking is rock solid. And we can render a rough playblast video, okay, using the viewport render animation function, and render into a video and then check in the playback to see whether the tracking is good or not. Right, so I will show you the steps on how to get these triangles to be pointing directly at these markers over here. Alright, so I'm going to load the scene right where it doesn't have the markers. So this one I already done the layout. Okay, I already done the layout from my match moving right over here. So this is my completed match moving. Because this is a very difficult shot, I got it down to a soft error of 1.5 even with all the optical distortions. Okay, but generally speaking, because the action is moving so quickly, right, you can't really see the mistakes. Alright, so I'm going to first convert all of these markers into a mesh object first. Now before I show you the mesh object, let's jump back to the layout first. And under the overlays, you want to turn on the motion tracking and the camera path. Right, so you can also adjust the size of your overlays. Okay, if you, normally the size of the overlay, the trackers are quite big. So I'm going to make it slightly smaller. Now if you do not want to generate the triangles, if you feel that you can inspect the sliding, right, just by looking at these crosses, yeah, you can render the video straight away from here. Okay, but if you want the inspection, right, to be clearer, we're going to convert all these markers right into a mesh object, and then we are going to put cones, the inverted cones which you see earlier on, pointing directly at these markers. Okay, so how do we do that? So first we go into motion tracking. Okay, into your motion tracking window. The very first step you must do is to select all the trackers. Right, so to select all the trackers is very simple. You just need to press the A on your keyboard, letter A once, and then all of them will be selected. Okay, when they are selected, go over to your Solve tab on the left, then go and look for a category that says Geometry and open it, and click on the button that says 3D Markers to Mesh. Right, so observe the outliner here. When I click 3D Markers to Mesh, you will see that it creates a mesh object called tracks. And you also see that there are orange dots appearing in your layout window. If you go over to the layout, and you can see, yeah, there is a bunch of orange dots in the scene. Alright, so essentially we have basically created a mesh object that consists of all these vertices that is made out of all these markers. Alright, so how do we put the reversed cones on top here? Now I'm gonna move to the beginning of the track, okay, and I'm gonna select the tracks that we have created, and then I'm gonna press Tab, okay, to go to edit mode. Now when you press Tab, you can see a bunch of new tools here, and you can access the vertex, edge, or face. And in this case, we only have the vertex. You can see we can select the individual vertex. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to select one of the vertex, and I'm going to set the center of the object here. Now remember, this entire object is just made out of dots so far. And if you want to create a flat surface, you can actually select 3 faces like that, or 3 vertices like that, and you press F, and then you combine and form a face. So I can continue over here, I can select all these points, and then I can just press F. You can see a face is being created. Right, so this is a great way, right, for you to create a very precise location of the floor. Okay, I'm going to select these 3 points and press F, and then you can see we created a point that formed the floor. Alright, so this is one of the use of creating this from the point to geometry. Alright, so I'm going to now get rid of these faces. I don't need the face. I don't Just want to show you the potential use of this. Press X to delete face. Okay, let me undo that. I think I have exited. Okay, press X and then delete away the face. And I think I also deleted the vertices as well. That's not my intention. Let me undo that. I'm going to just select the faces, press X and then delete only faces and edges. Sorry, edges and faces. I want to keep the vertices. Yeah, so I still want to keep all these vertices here. Okay, so next, I'm going to select this vertex and I want to make this vertex the center of this entire object. So to do that, first you select the vertex that you want to be the center, then use the snapping window, Shift S, and say cursor to selected, and the cursor will jump over here. Next, you want to press Tab once or go to object mode. Alright, so right now we are in object mode. I'm going to force the center of this object to be at the cursor. So to do that, just right mouse click over the vertex and then choose the menu item that says set origin to 3D cursor. This is very, very important, because if you don't set the origin to 3D cursor, okay, and then later the reference object which I'm going to create, okay, it will not align to all the vertices here. Okay, the next step, very simple. Okay, right now we have already corrected the center position, and also the cursor is also in the position that we want. Then just press Shift A and make sure you're in object mode when you do this. Okay, object mode, check that you're in object mode. Press Shift A, go to mesh and create a cube. Alright, and now we're going to modify the cube a little bit. So press Tab or go to edit mode, press Tab, the Tab key once, and then also I need you to press Alt Z so that we can see through the cube. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the bottom 4 vertices and move them to the position of the cursor. So drag a box, okay, over the 4 vertices and then press Shift S, selection to cursor, and then they will collapse over here. Then select the remaining 4 vertices, okay, and then we can scale them, make it smaller. Just press S to scale it smaller, then press G, Z to bring it higher, so it become a slim cone. Okay, you can watch out for the center, the pivot center here. If your pivot center is in the medium point, you can just press S and then you can increase and make it smaller, so it will not scale towards the cursor. Okay, that's why the position of the cursor is also very important. Okay, so once you have done that, okay, we have one cone done over here. I'm going to press Alt Z or go over to shaded mode. So Alt Z to get out of invisible mode. Yeah, and then if I scrub forward, you can see the cone is pointing exactly at the cursor position. But we want more than one cone to be pointing at these points over here. Alright, so we are going to do something called instancing. Alright, if you select the cone, okay, or any mesh object, right, you can access the instancing option. Alright, so only mesh object is available for instancing. If you select these trackers, right, it doesn't have an instance option. So make sure you select the correct object. So I'm going to temporarily hide the overlay for the motion tracking. So right now I have the points that represents the tracking position, which is the tracks. Okay, so first you need to do this. Select the objects, right, you want the secondary object to be distributed. Then hold down the Shift and left mouse click to select the code that you want to distribute. Then after that, press Ctrl P and parent it by object. Alright, so once you have done that, then you can go over to, okay, make sure both of them are selected. Then go over to instancing and then enable vertices. Okay, I think I chose the wrong one. Let me try instancing again. Okay, I think I parented it wrongly. I should parent it, the cone parent to the tracks. Alright, so let me undo that. Okay, select the cone, then shift and select the distributing object, which is the tracks. Okay, then press Ctrl P and then parent it. Okay, I think I've let me unparent this. Alt P, clear parent, and then Alt P, clear the parent. Alright, so let's try one more time. Select the child or the object to be distributed, then shift select the parent, and then press Ctrl P and set to parent. And then you can see the vertices are now distributed. Now the good thing is that the original object, if I feel that it is too big, I can still edit it. If you press tab to edit, then I'm going to scale this down, and then now you can see the cone is nicely created, and you can see that now they are all sticking to the position of the trackers. Okay, so just earlier on I made a mistake, so remember, select the object you want to distribute first, in this case, which is the cube, and then shift select the tracks. Okay, then after that enable instances, okay, under the track objects. Okay, and at the same time, if you want the overlays, right, for motion tracking, you can turn them back on. Alright, so you can have a clearer picture of how, whether your track works or not. So once you have all of this done, we can render a video out from this, or the playblast video. So to render it, okay, first we need to set up the output. Okay, we want to set up the output name of the file. You're going to put it here, and then I'm going to call this the tracking playblast. Then accept. Then what type of file? FFmpeg video. And what type of encoding? MPEG-4. And that's it. Alright, there's no audio here. So we can now render this, which is, you can do it very quickly by going to View and Viewport Render Animation. And this is using the EV engine, which is should be quite fast. Now I should have removed that cube and that platform there. And we are almost done. So let's go and look for the file. Okay, it's under SHG3 demo. Okay, so it's located here, and I can now show you the video that was rendered out. So there it is, tracking playblast, frame 1 to 218. Right, so for your submission of your assignment 3, okay, make sure you generate the playblast, okay, for your video, for both of your tracking videos. Now you can include the cones. Okay, but if you find that it's very complicated to do the clone, then the overlays, right, with the markers is good enough. So on top of your final video, you need to also submit this video. Alright, so please make sure you all do that. Okay, so hopefully the video is clear enough. Okay, and I will stop the video now.